Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tokenicer and I'm here to bring you guys in-depth analysis, news, and insights from the digital asset space, along with covering the progressive tokenization of the world. In today's video, I'm bringing you guys an introduction to a project from the space that's working to build out a regulated blockchain agnostic hybrid liquidity exchange aggregator. I know that's a big mouthful, but we'll break it down more. And they're also going to be building an entire growing ecosystem within their vision. And of course, just like any self-sustaining ecosystem, there's going to be incentives for the community to participate and support the continued growth of this ecosystem. But before we get started, I just got to go over the usual and let you guys know I'm not a financial advisor, and therefore nothing you ever hear or read from me should ever be taken as financial advice. But now that we got that out of the way, let's get right into it. So the project we're going to be talking about today is Unizen. They're building the vision of a hybrid chain agnostic exchange aggregator. A way you can think of this is think of all these exchanges out there, whether it's a decentralized exchange or a centralized exchange, as pretty much just Lego bricks. Now think of Unizen as a big Lego base plate. You pretty much just stack all these Lego bricks over top of the base plate, and basically every Lego brick is now connected to the base plate's ecosystem. This is exactly how Unizen's exchange ecosystem aggregator is going to work. So they've already begun integrating some exchanges into their aggregator. So for example, like Uniswap, which is pretty much the most popular DEX out there, and SiftChain, which is an omni-chain DEX built with the Cosmos software development kit. And on top of that, they're built over top of Binance Cloud, so they share the liquidity with them. And as you guys know, Binance is the largest exchange out there by a pretty long shot. Now, personally, I don't really see anything too special in Binance, but hey, you guys can't argue with the numbers, right? Again, on top of just an exchange, they're going to have a whole lot of other features that's going to help set them apart from all these other exchanges out there. Because, well, to seriously thrive in this exchange market, you got to be doing something unique. Just having lower fees or like a nice convenient UI isn't going to cut it anymore. If people want low trading fees, they'll go to something like a Kraken or a Binance. If people want a simplistic UI, they'll head over to Coinbase. So Unizen has integrated an incubator system into their project to bring in early to mid-stage projects in the space through their ecosystem by providing them the proper mentorship and tools from their amazing team to really build out applications that are going to be successful. And just like their exchange, it's going to be a hybrid incubator, taking some aspects from centralized finance and some from decentralized finance. CDeFi is what they call it. But this incubator is called the ZCX incubator. And we've already seen some pretty unique projects with real-world application to them being incubated. Some projects like Cyrus, which basically allows you to monetize certain parts of your data while keeping other parts of it private rather than having it all just sold to big tech companies and us getting nothing for it. There's also Demetra, which is bringing blockchain and distributed ledger technology into the world of agriculture to enhance productivity and efficiency. Alchemy, which is a project built on Constellation's hypergraph that's working to create the first ever decentralized exchange for advertising. But that's enough about the projects in the ZCX incubator. There's a few more I haven't covered, but this video is about Unizen, not just the ZCX incubator. But an incubator gives a project another path to continue and accelerate growth in their respective ecosystem by bringing other projects in and helping them grow their ecosystem out. So in the end, it's a win-win for both parties. But that's not all for how Unizen is looking to expand their ecosystem. So while there's some Ponzi node, DAO turned VC or whatever things out there, I'm not going to call out any projects, but if you guys have looked around, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. So Unizen is taking a completely different approach to this to grow their ecosystem in a more legitimate and sustainable way. An incubator is great for bringing in new projects and helping them grow out and all, but they've also got a program that's going to help support projects that have already shown utility and show a long-term sustainability and potential. And this is through their Supernode program. I've made a video about this before earlier on when they announced it back in December, so I'll plug it up here just in case anybody wants to dive deeper into this. But essentially, Unizen is going to be running nodes for networks that they see long-term potential in, along with having, I guess you could say, partial nodes for the participants of their ecosystem to run. So currently there's a lot of nodes that take not only some grasp of software knowledge, but oftentimes 5 to 6 figures that you can just allocate to. And oftentimes that isn't something that's so readily available for most people, especially with CPI rising up so high and wages practically staying stagnant. So some of the projects that they're supporting on here are Constellation Network, which again, I'll leave a link up here for anyone who wants to learn more about. But they've pretty much rewritten the hypertext and are working to build the next layer of the internet better suited for things like big data, IoT, and AI, because we've also got Cadena, which is a hybrid blockchain layer 1 platform built with the intentions of sustainability and real-world application. Then there's also SiftChain, which we talked about earlier, is one of their partners for their exchange aggregator and is a omni-chain exchange built through the Cosmos software development kit. And the last project they've officially listed on their Supernode program is Xenon, which is one of the newer layer 1s out there, and it uses a very unique dual token consensus mechanism. This Supernode program is really interesting when paired together with their ZCX incubator, because now they're so much more than an exchange. In fact, if their hybrid exchange aggregator part was taken out of the project, it'd probably still be a solid project as like maybe a DAO to accelerate and support networks in this space or something. So we're already beginning to see some things that's really separating Unizen from the rest of its competition when it comes to exchanges. But now let's tie the community aspects that they've integrated into this project. So they've got a very unique staking mechanism with their ZCX token, where rather than earning rewards in your native token, like how 99% of staking mechanisms work, you're going to be getting rewarded in a multitude of different assets. So this is what they call DMAS, dynamic multi-asset staking. Staking ZCX on Unizen will allow us participants to receive rewards from the projects they've incubated, along with rewards allocated from the Supernode program. And on top of that, staking ZCX in their DMAS pools will allow you early access to sales from projects in the ZCX incubator. And I personally find this the coolest part of Unizen. This is so much more than an exchange at this point. Now, if you participate in this ecosystem, you basically get to reap the rewards of every aspect of growth in their ever-growing ecosystem, while also running partial nodes on a budget without any need for software knowledge. And also another prominent feature on their exchange is DYSA, which is Dynamic Yield Savings Account. And this is going to work pretty similarly to your average lending protocol, but primarily for stablecoins. So think protocols like Aave or Compound, or like Celsius and BlockFi for more centralized examples. Though one big difference here will be that the more ZCX tokens you lock and stake into this feature, the higher tier your yield on your stablecoins will be. This just adds to all the more versatility and use cases, and thus would likely cause a higher demand for the ZCX token as they continue to build. But now to add even further to the community aspects, Unizen isn't just creating incentives for their own community to participate, but also a bunch of other networks through their tournament of alts. They've held 2 tournaments of alts so far, with Constellation winning the first one back in March of 2021 and AlphaZero winning the most recent one just a month or 2 ago. The team at Unizen pretty much picks out 10 to 12 layer 1 protocols that they see growing demand in, and then these communities post either bullish or educational content about their projects to boost their sentiment and engagement. And then after about a week or 2, the layer 1 community with the highest sentiment score will then get a free listing onto their exchange, in addition to also listing and support through their incubator for projects that are built on that layer 1. But now let's switch gears a little and go over to the team at Unizen. So the Chief Technology Officer, Martin Grandstorm, he's got a solid background in tech and software development, having worked nearly 7 years at NetRounds, which is a software as a service company, climbing the ladder from a technical sales manager all the way up to a site reliability engineer. He then went on and worked as CEO of Glacier Hub in 2020 and actually still does today. And Glacier Hub is pretty much a company that specializes in distributed systems and storage solutions. Moving on, we also got James Taylor, the Chief Business Development Officer, and he's got quite the background when it comes to the world of traditional finance. James has had experience working at Barclays Investment Bank with just a little under 7 years serving as their director, and then not long after, another 3 years at Deutsche Bank. And then after that, 8 years as an executive director at one of the largest investment banks in the world, JP Morgan. And then 4 more years at the oldest and most prestigious bank in New York, BNY Mellon, as their global head of Forex sales. So these are all like top 100 banks in the world by total assets. Like, James could have just chose to go to like Goldman or BNP or HSBC. But no, he chose to come to a mid-stage crypto project that's still developing, and it really should make you think, what does he see in this and what's the potential he sees? Then we've also got the advisory board, which is, I personally believe, where this team really shines, and probably also where a bunch of the mentorship and help for their incubator program provides. So first off, we got Ian Sobieski, and he graduated with a PhD in philosophy at Stanford, and then went on having worked at the Band of Angels as their managing director for the past 25 years and still going strong. So let's take a quick look at what the Band of Angels is. They're pretty much the OGs when it comes to Silicon Valley angel investment groups, like literally the first ever angel investing group. And Ian's had experience managing over 20 startups and investing in over hundreds of early stage projects. So Ian being on the board of advisors for this team should, again, really say something about what potential are they seeing that we might not. Then the next advisor we'll be taking a look at is Rashida Jaja, and he's the CEO of Alliance Block. I'll leave another link up here for anyone wanting to dive deeper into Alliance Block, but pretty much they're working to build the bridge for the world of TradFi into this new space of DeFi through building a globally compliant yet still decentralized financial market to trade any asset on. And prior to that, Rashid spent some time working in both the financial world at BNP and Barclays, along with some experience in AI and blockchain at Vinci. And then for the last advisor we'll cover today is Gilbert Verdian. Now, most of you guys who follow my content would probably know about the quant CEO Gilbert Verdian by now. But if not, I'll leave another little link up here if you guys want to dive deeper. But a quick rundown of some of Gilbert's accomplishments. He's worked at several government level positions, from HM Treasury and Ministry of Justice in the UK, to then going down to serve as the Chief Information Securities Officer down in Australia's Government Health Department. And then he worked at VocaLink, a MasterCard company, where he won Cybersecurity Chief Information Securities Officer in 2017. And now, on top of all this, he's even held the position of a chairman for the UK National Committee on the Framework of Standards for the Blockchain Industry. So I personally think Gilbert has one of the best resumes in this whole space, and having him on the board of advisors at Unizen is just going to help them all that much more at, one, being compliant, but two, really learning how to build out a sustainable project. Now let's go over tokenomics real quick. So we've already talked about some of the use cases for the ZCX tokens, such as DMAS and DISA. So there's going to be some pretty strong incentives to participate in their growing ecosystem. And pretty much all they got to do is buy their token, and then you've got access to every part of their ecosystem, whether it be projects they're incubating into their community or new nodes and gateway networks that they're bridging into their ecosystem. And all you really got to do is stake their token on their exchange. And of course, it'll have all that basic stuff that exchange tokens do, like governance and reduced trading fees. So there's a total supply of 1 billion ZCX tokens and about only 33 million or so in circulation at the moment. Now, before you guys freak out, let me explain why this actually sounds a lot worse than it really is. First off, 30% of the total supply, or 300 million tokens, is going to be locked away and probably never see circulation because it's just going to be used as an insurance fund in the case of a hack or anything. Then there's also the fact that with all these use cases for their token requiring you to lock up ZCX into staking, that'll probably help a lot with offsetting the diluted supply over time. And now add in multiple token burn features where they'll be burning ZCX with every paid listing onto their exchange, along with market buying ZCX back all throughout the year with a portion of their revenue. And what are they going to do with them? They're going to burn them, of course. And along with the fact that with every pro membership, which will be required to access their DMAS pools, will be $50 paid in either Ethereum, USDC, or ZCX. But regardless of whatever it's paid for, it'll be converted to ZCX and again, burnt. So you add in all these deflationary burn features, along with the fact that 30% of the total supply will probably never see circulation, and all these use cases for their token, Well, I'm not saying there won't be any token inflation, but what I'm saying is that one, it's not going to be as bad as it looks, and two, in the long run, if you're holding a fundamentally strong project, which I truly believe Unizen to be, well, the tokenomics shouldn't be too worrisome, especially if there's actual demand for the token's utility. Now, Unizen's partnering system is rather unique since they're an exchange, but at the same time, much more than an exchange. So remember how both Gilbert and Rashid are both advisors on this board, yet they're founders of their own projects? Well, if you see potential in one project you're working with, why not integrate it into your own? This is exactly what Gilbert and Rashid have done at Quant and Alliance Block by partnering up with Unizen. So the partnership with Quant is going to have Unizen setting up a gateway into their exchange ecosystem for Overledger. And in addition to that, the ZCX incubator is actually going to be bringing in MDApps built on Overledger. Now take a moment to think about how fucking huge that's going to be. You'll basically be getting rewards in multi-chain assets built on Overledger through their ZCX incubating system just by staking your ZCX. And then the partnership with Alliance Block it's going to have Unizen integrating their DeFi terminal into their exchange aggregator, which is basically a one-stop shop to access all things DeFi. So like liquidity providing, swapping, staking, lending, whatever. And along with that, since Unizen is working to be compliant, they'll also integrate Alliance Block's trustless KYC verification as an option for users if they want to access certain exchange modules. They've also partnered with one of the most popular crypto media platforms out there, LunaCrush. This is sorta a crypto sentiment and analytics tracker for engagement. And this partnership will have Unizen actually integrating their sentiment indicator into their exchange modules to give users all that much more tools to have access to. And so to wrap it all up, Unizen is so much more than just another DEX project. While they've done an amazing job on that end, bringing in both centralized and decentralized finance together, with their incubator program being a very unique approach to exchanges, you usually see most exchanges following similar footsteps, since on paper there doesn't look like there's much need for a change, aside from maybe like customer service, since well, exchanges most times are catered towards retail anyways. But instead, their ZCX incubator being part of this will make it so that Unizen isn't just a project for retail traders and investors, but also entrepreneurs and businesses looking to find ways to expand on their products and services into this new digital asset space. But the biggest selling point for me is how they plan to continue expanding their ecosystem through their ZCX incubator, bringing in potentially hundreds of developing projects in the space that have real-world application and strong potential to be adopted. And of course, their Supernode program, which will bring all the more support and help to further decentralize these networks that they wish to help grow and spread the adoption of. And we can't forget about the community participation incentives. With DMAS and DISA, I really think Unizen is one of the tokens with the most user-based incentives in the whole space, as it pretty much rewards you in every aspect of their growing ecosystem. But yeah, that's pretty much it for our little breakdown of Unizen today. Hope everyone got something good out of it, whatever it may be. So if you guys liked what you saw today, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and turn that ringer on so you don't miss a thing. And don't forget to check me out on some of my other content platforms. You guys can always keep up to date and connect with me through Telegram, Twitter, or Instagram. Or if you'd like more fundamental analysis like this, check out my Medium. All this can be found at Tokenicer. And for those of y'all who don't want to read, I got you guys with the Spotify podcast right here at Tokenice TV. But yeah, that's pretty much all for today. Our next breakdown will likely be covering some of the projects in the gaming industry, so like Merit Circle, Ultra, and MetaHero. But until next time, guys, stay safe out there and keep grinding. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.